Okay, so now what we are going to see is a brief introduction about SAP HANA K-means statistical algorithm. And here is the universe of data. You will see that it is very difficult to find a grouping when you have this type of universe, and this is the results from the k-means algorithm when you have the centroids or the clusters that the algorithm calculated. You see that the after several iterations the clusters or the centroids are marked in black, so it will be easier to understand what are the grouping of the data that we are processing. Here is the structure of the function of the k-means for SAP, and we have an input source data table. We have here an example of 3 variables, but we can be n number of variables. And on the book, you will get the links to have the source code for the creation of the source data table. Okay, so you will be able to develop the sample from scratch. Then we are going to put all these instructions or all the source code on the SQL query tool in Eclipse. Here we created the column, the data table, and next we are going to insert the data for this data table that we're creating. Okay, so here we're running the insert for this data table. Okay, so we inserted the data, and next we are going to create the we already create the data table, and next we are going to create the results table where all the results from the function will be stored. It is called the PILK means assigned T. Okay, so we are going to create here the results table, then run. It is very important to understand that we have to create this table because on this table the function will store the results of the processing. Next we are going to create the table where the centroids or the clusters will be stored. Okay, so here we are going to create the centers or the centroids. It has to compliant with this structure where you will see the details inside of the book or inside the full the full course. Okay, remember that it has to have this specific structure where we are going to store the result clusters of the algorithm. Okay, next we are going to create the parameter table. Here we are going to specify the number or the number of groups that we want to process for the data that we are processing. We are going to see what will be the best method to know what it is the optimal group number or the group of or the number of clusters that we want to find on the data. There will be a method to find what will be the best number for to find this cluster. Okay, but right now we are creating the parameter table, and we're going to insert the values. Okay, to insert the values for these parameters to say to the k-means function how many groups do we want to process. Okay, so here we did all this, we complied with all this structure, and we are ready to run the k-means function of SAP HANA. We're going to call the function now, You see, this is the syntax for this function. We're going to call and execute the k-means function. Okay, done. And we're going to review the results right now. Okay, it was successfully executed. And the first results that we are going to review are the centroids. Okay, what are the centroids, or the group, or the centers of the groups that the algorithm found? Okay, the centers are, we open the content on the SQL query tool, and here we have the 4 clusters, and the values for each variable that are on these centroids are displayed here. Okay, so these are the centroids for the 4 groups, or the 4 clusters that we process for the source data. Okay, next we are going to review the assigned table, or the table where we have all the results. We have here for each record of the source data, we have the results for which cluster for each record. Okay, and the distance that we have from the centroid. Okay, so now we are going to do a join between the source data and the results table to get the the values of the variables for each cluster that we are going to find. Okay, so we are clearing some screens. This is the source data table. Remember that we are going to make a join between the source data table and the results from the function. We're going to open the results from the k-means function, and you see that we are going to do a join between these two tables to get the cluster for each one. Okay, so now that we have, these are the results for the cluster number 3. These are the 3 valuables for cluster number 3. Okay, we are doing a join between the source data table and the results from the k-means function. Okay, so also we are going to do, we have this source data, and we are going to find several information for inventory and sales. For example, here we have the source data for sales, month and year. This is the 3D representation for this source data. We are going to find the centroids and all the results for that, and then we are going to explore what is the quantity, month and year for these sales, and we are going to find what are the centroids, and also we are going to explore what comparing the sales per quantity to find the centroids and all the cluster information for these variables. Okay,